Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kickback Presents the All Memphis Post Game Show. This is your boy Jamal, and with me is the homie Mace. Mace, what's going on?
Man, it's another tough Grizzlies loss. We slumming through it. Is that 4 in a row now? 3 in a row? 4 in a row?
3 in a row. Yeah.
So now not 500, sitting below 500 for the first time in a while. Not all that surprising when you look at the grand scheme of things coming into this season and who's played and who hadn't, but it still hurts, Jamal. And we keep blowing these fourth quarter leads. That's 2 in a row now. We had a lead against the Pelicans heading into the fourth, had a lead against the Raptors heading into the fourth. So it's just tough pills to swallow, and they keep coming one after another.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if we were losing these games, we were getting blown out every night. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I think I saw the stat. I heard the stat. They said that the Grizzlies they played 19 games. They've been leading going into the going into the fourth quarter, 13 of those 19 games. And they're 8-5 after tonight. Yep. 8-5 after tonight. So it's like, man, like, we are losing games that we should win. We should have won this one, and we should have won the one on Saturday. The Rockets game was the Rockets game. You know, the Rockets and the Pacers beat us good, but like we are in these games with some of these teams, and that's where the frustrating part comes.
Yeah, and before tonight, the Raptors were 0-11 when trailing heading into the fourth quarter. So
right.
Their first time turning the tables in the final quarter. But I think that at least, we are being competitive throughout the games. It is a one positive to take away, even though we're kind of folding in the fourth. When you look at these, especially these last two teams, the Pelicans, they just have better players than us when their starters are on the floor and our starters are on the floor. And the Raptors tonight have better players than us. I mean, Fred VanVleet just felt like he controlled the entire game.
Yeah.
And he had 30-something points. He had 32 points, 9 assists, got to the line 12 times. And it just felt like whenever he decided that the Raptors were going to score, they started scoring. Their team defense stepped it up in the fourth quarter. I mean, they closed the game on a 43-18 run. I think the Grizz only scored 16 points in the third quarter. They stifled us. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They weren't going to let Ja Morant beat them, which, again, we're seeing time and time again. And we made the right play, but then it led to a turnover or a missed shot. Teams are fine with Kyle Anderson shooting threes. Grizzlies fans are happy that he has a career high, but he's still not beating teams in the fourth quarter from downtown.
I'm so glad that that's one of your talking points because I've been on Ja. Ja has been I've been looking at Ja since he's come back, and I wanted to see some more out of him. And the fact that these teams are keying in on him more, like once you get to that star level, you start to get star treatment, both good and bad. And these other teams, they are focusing on him. He's their main focal point on defense. And so I got some stuff about him a little later, but let's get into so before we start, what would pregame, what was you looking at? Like, did you write out notes about what you wanted to see pregame?
I didn't really. The main thing I wanted to see was a change to the starting lineup, as I went on a tangent last show. And we got that. We got Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Dillon Brooks, Kyle Anderson, and Valanciunas. Completely fine with that. I probably honestly would put Grayson Allen in over Bane, but I have no problem with the rookie getting a shot. And even though it didn't really go as planned for Bane, he hit a couple shots, but I just listened to the post-game show, and Taylor Jenkins made it a point to note that Dez was not engaged defensively. Norman Powell kind of got loose, and the Raptors got a little comfortable in that first half. So I wasn't really looking at anything. Did you have keys to the game?
So I had 3 keys to the game. One was team defense, what it would look like with bringing JV back, but losing Brandon and DeAnthony for the game. Just to see because Brandon and DeAnthony were hogs on defense, right? That you knew they were going to bring defensive intensity every time. The other one was which version of their Dylan Brooks did we get? Playing well on both ends of the court. When he does that, the Grizzlies usually win. So I was looking at that. And energy level. This is their 6th game in 10 days. They had 4 on the road and 2 at home. So I wanted to see how they played in that game. So you look at some of those things, and then what else is all right? Then the rotation, how they were going to use JV and what's my boy Grayson Allen. But since the starting lineup got out of whack anyway, the rotations kind of got thrown off. I don't think we saw much of Gorgie Jane tonight, did we? Gorgie, no. 10 minutes. So that's what I was thinking. And also Ja. Ja hasn't scored 20 points since he came back. And I said on the notes that he needs to be the scorer for this team to win. Before tonight, the most shots he's taken this season was 15. It was a good number, but could be higher. And can he play? Could he outplay Fred VanVleet? The point guard matchups every night in this league is tough. So Ja has to play at the level or outplay his point guard counterparts every time he gets on the court. And like you said, VanVleet came in and had it rolling for the past few weeks. So there you go. And Ja didn't outplay him. VanVleet looked like the vet out there, and Ja looked like the second-year players in some cases. And how he controlled the team. So that's what I was looking for. If you look at energy level, the Grizzlies came out like on energy high. We scored the score at the end of the first quarter was 34-33. 34-35 them. So we had enough energy. We played well. Shots were falling. The defense JV was doing his thing. Ja looked completely different with JV on the court. I put that he acts like a security blanket for Ja when he attacks the rim, because he know when he attacks the rim, if he misses, Jonas is there probably for a putback or for the offensive rebound, and then if the big helps, he's dish. Jonas got good hands; he can dish it to him. So you just saw kind of some renewed energy from Ja in that first quarter, and I think he had what did I write down? He had 8 points and 4 assists in the first quarter.
Yeah, the whole team. The first half, we go into halftime up 70-63. JV's got 18 and 14 at the half. And Ja was dishing that thing. The offense was rolling. We had 11 offensive rebounds. We were shooting 47% from 3. We had 3 turnovers basically to start the game. I want to say it was the first 3 possessions. Maybe it was like first 4. And then we only had 6 turnovers to close the half. So 3 the rest of the way. You'll take that. And we were getting to the free throw line, 22 free throws. The first half, you were pleased. Grayson came off the bench. I think he had 10 points off the bench. But the defense wasn't really there. You give up 63. I guess the defense that we saw during that win streak was a mirage, because we cannot stop anyone at the point of attack. We can't control penetration. And then teams are just picking us apart. Shooters are wide open. Lobbers are flying to the rim. So it may be, to your point about all these games that we played, maybe they're tired and they're not able to lock in defensively. But, I think everyone in the NBA at this point has had schedule disruptions, and it is the kind of dreary days of February. You're trying to make it to the All-Star break. Yep. So this is kind of lackluster. It's a young team. Most of these guys in their first, second, third year still learning how to bring it every night. And another thing Jenkins mentioned is they're seeing defenses and stuff that they haven't seen before. New looks coming at Ja throughout the game, not just in the fourth quarter. Yep. But I say all that, and the first half we had a season high in points, and we looked great.
Right. Season high points, 70 points in the first half. Talking about the defenses, Toronto threw a couple zone possessions in there. Grizz shot him out of it though. As soon as they went zone one time, Desmond Bane hit a shot in the corner to kind of get him out of it a little bit. And it was just like, I don't know if you could have asked for anything more in that first half. Like we shot
even got a crazy John Morant 3.
Easy. I don't even know how he made that. Like how he made that and I don't know what he was trying to do. Was he trying to get a foul? Was he trying to throw it to somebody? But there you go. Easy 3 for him. Easy in quotation mark. It was like a half of runs. We would have a run, they would have a run. We would have a run, they would have a run. Where like I said, like both teams couldn't get stops. And this is like at that point in time in the game. And this isn't your Toronto Raptors team of old, where they were like really keying in on the defense. Kyle Lowry is almost out the door there. I read some reports they're thinking about trying to trade him. He has back spasms, so he didn't play that much that game. Wish I would have known that. But
foreshadowing, I'm assuming.
Yeah, foreshadowing. Wish I would have paid attention to the scouting report. But it was the first half was the Jonas Valanciunas half, like you said. He came in and just played great. He had a double-double at the end of the first half. He basically took over the last 3 minutes of the second quarter. It was the first half was a good sight to see. We finished with 6 turnovers, 14 assists, had 70 points, kind of rolling. Then the second half starts, and all hell breaks loose.
And the only negatives from the first half, the Raptors shot 54% from 3. They only had 5 turnovers, which again speaks to our lack of defense, but they scored every time they turned us over. We had 6 turnovers. They had 12 points off of turnovers. And I think that for the most part speaks to the type of turnovers. We're just giving teams run out layups, basically. Yeah. That's why they're easy conversions. So, and they only shot 10 free throws to our 22. So everything was going right for us. Even to start the third quarter, we pushed the lead up to 10. Ja Morant hit a corner 3, one he actually meant to shoot and make. and then he got an alley-oop from Desmond Bane. And then right after the oop from Bane, Ja and Dylan were on a fast break. And Dylan did not throw the lob to Ja. Do you remember the play I'm talking about?
No, I don't. I think I was getting something to drink.
So Dylan.
I remember the 2-hand dunk. Like the lob I remember was a Desmond one where Ja caught it with 2 hands.
Yeah, so right after that, Dylan and Ja were on a break, and their spacing was terrible. They were both basically running down the free throw lanes, and just no spacing. And then there was Bembry was quickly coming behind Ja, so Dylan didn't throw the oop. Ja went up for the oop and was above the rim. Dylan missed the layup. Then I think Ja actually got the rebound and short armed the reverse layup. But after that, everything just went downhill. That's when Ja got called for a trip. And then Ja tried to pass it to Gorgie, where Gorgie was coming to set Ja a screen, but Ja was trying to pass it to Gorgie and then get the handoff. And that led to a bucket. Dylan had a turnover right after that. And then Grayson Allen had the flagrant foul, which there was no ill intent in that. And I know it's the letter of the law that he hit the guy in the face, but and then the next thing that sparked the 9-0 Raptors run. All those plays right there. The Grizzlies aren't scoring. Raptors are converting buckets, and then it's 95-94.
I don't care about no letter of the law. Last game we played, Ja Morant got slapped upside the head, lost the braid, and these motherfuckers didn't call no flagrant foul. Forget your letter of the law. He barely touched the dude, if he even touched him, and they call a flagrant foul. It was with intent. Intent to do what? I saw Lonzo Ball knock Ja Morant into Tunica, Mississippi, and not a call. Was it Lonzo? What game was that? Was that?
It was Lonzo. It was Lonzo.
I couldn't remember. I had to go back and think. I saw it, and there was no call. The one thing I'm not liking, and I can't say that I blame him. Ja be having tantrums on the court, like when he threw that ball to Gorgie and Gorgie didn't catch it. It was like he going like this. And I get it, because at that time the game had gotten a little tighter. We needed it. The possessions got a little more serious. And Gorgie, it was a miscommunication. I get it. I would like to see that change, but I get it. I understand why he's like that.
Do you think that's just because the pressure he's putting on himself to perform at a superstar level?
I think so. I think so.
Is it just will to win? Like, because it is becoming a topic on Grizzlies Twitter and in the message boards, wherever, is Ja's body language is bad. And some people frame it as pouty. Some people just frame it as he wants to win. So I think he just wants to win. And he's just he wants to be so good, like so bad. And when he does little things like that he can control. I mean, that was him tossing it out of bounds, basically. So, but it's happening with referee calls and stuff too. So, I mean, how do you see that changing?
I don't really. I guess the only way I can see it changing is if we get a little bit more success. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, once calls start going our way, maybe when we're not in the midst of his losing streak and we're playing bad, you start to understand some of the calls. You get a little bit better. But like I said, at those point in times, excuse me. And it's always happening in points and times in the games where like the game is tight or the momentum is changing or something like that. But also it could be the fact that he just watched the refs call a bogus flagrant foul on Grayson Allen for barely touching this dude, and he got his head knocked off last night on Saturday night, and there was no call. Like, at some point there has to be some conversation about some of the inaccuracies of how they officiate Ja Morant and how they officiate a lot of these, how they just officiate in general. I do believe that in the second half, the referees flipped a little. The Raptors got very beneficial calls. It was a very pro Raptor second half officiating. If they let them be as physical as they were in the first half, that some of these ticky-tack fouls weren't it in the second half. Obviously, the free throw numbers are what they are. We finished with 29 free throws and we shot 22 in the first half. So that in itself is, and they shot 10 in the first half, you said, right? And they finished with 26. So maybe it was their way of evening it out, but still it didn't sit right with me. Some of the calls that they were getting, obviously I'm looking at it in the Homer lens, but some of the calls just didn't really make that much sense. And even I think in the fourth quarter after they started the fourth quarter after Taylor Jenkins got thrown out of the game, which I also didn't see. I don't know where I was doing.
Hold on. Taylor didn't get thrown out of the game.
Nick Nurse got thrown out of the game.
But maybe Taylor Jenkins should, to your point, get a technical or two in support of his second-year star player.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
throw a fucking clipboard.
Do something. Why did Nick Nurse get thrown out?
He got his second technical. JV scored a little up and under bucket and accidentally hit Fred VanVleet with his elbow as he was coming out of the bucket. Mm-hmm. And he thought, he was saying Valanciunas should try what he was kind of doing a dance like Iggy once did when he also got a technical foul in FedEx Forum. And then he was wanting a foul for Freddie. So he got tossed. But, I mean, shit, that's turned the tides of the game for the Raptors.
Exactly what they needed. That's exactly what they needed. And it turned – they started the quarter on a 10-0 run and start the fourth quarter. And it just shows you how quick an NBA game can turn. Literally, it can turn in a second. Just one spark can put a game out of reach for you. We were feeling good with like 3 minutes to go in that third quarter. And then go into the fourth quarter, and you're like, oh, shit, what just happened?
Well, let's talk about what happened because this was also a big trending topic during the game. We come out with a lineup. I think it was Tyus, Grayson Allen, John Conchar, Kyle, and Xavier Tillman. So really no scoring other than Grayson. Hopefully Kyle, I guess. But that lineup is when that run really happened. And I had in my notes, Ja came out in the third quarter with 1 minute and 12 left. That was his first break of the third quarter. So to me, that means a couple of things. One, I'd rather Ja play the entire fourth than the entire third. He was kind of in a rhythm. He had 7 points and a couple of assists. That's not enough for me to keep Ja in. That's not superstar taking over the game type of rhythm. And it also doesn't allow Tyus to get into a rhythm. And so then you toss Tyus in the last minute of this quarter when the Raptors are free-flowing, playing good D, getting their hands on balls, converting easy layups. And then basically Tyus has to come out early in the fourth too, because he never gets into that rhythm. And Ja has to come right back in and in turn play the whole fourth quarter. I think he came in with like 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Yeah. So I thought, one, that lineup, I love Conchar as much as the next guy, but there's no reason to play him when your team's this healthy. And then I don't like how he used Ja in that third quarter.
I've been trying to figure out what Ja's minutes rotations is, because he almost played the whole first quarter too. He took him out with like less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, which is not the usual. Usually he gets out maybe around a 3 minute or 4 minute mark, so Tyus can come in. Mm-hmm. And I noticed with that lineup too, like you would hope that there would be a better defensive lineup, maybe, but the way that the Raptors had it rolling, Grayson Allen wasn't stopping nobody, Kyle Anderson wasn't stopping nobody, and they weren't coming down there and scoring. And so, like, and you could see there's such a synergy. You mentioned this the last game. There's such a synergy between Ja and JV, and even in the beginning, in the first half, between Ja and Grayson. Grayson, and they all play well off of each other, right? But with Ja and JV, they were controlling everything. Jonas was a force in the paint. Boucher, who was like my size, but then obviously he's taller, but he's skinny like me. Like, he just getting manhandled down there. And so, like, when both of them went off the court to end that third quarter, in the midst of their run, that's when you know what I'm saying, shit went left. And then you bring them back, but Toronto's rolling. Now you got Siakam rolling, you got Van Fleet rolling, and then what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And in the fourth, you said Ja came in with 9 minutes to go, 9:36. Ja took 2 shots in the fourth quarter. 0 points, 2 shots. Can't do that, bro. You can't do that. And I know they keying in on you. You weren't really double. It wasn't a double, but you know, they were focusing their defense to you. Can't do that, fam. Like, you got to press the issue. I would, like you said, the Raptors would love to have Kyle Anderson shoot threes. I would much rather Ja Morant shoot a 3 than Kyle Anderson shoot a 3 in the fourth quarter, like, or take it to the rim or do something. Keep the ball in your hands. There was one turnover in the fourth quarter. It was in the midst of the comeback, so it had to be under 3 minutes, maybe under 4 minutes, where I think the Raptors score, and there's some confusion on who takes the ball out. Jonas was down there, Ja was down there, and Desmond Bane was down there. Jonas and Ja were both out of bounds to take the ball out, and they pass it to Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane gets it and travels because he gets it. He's like, I need to get it back to Ja. He does what he's a rookie. He don't know what he's doing. And that's a travel, and that's a possession that we need. And I'm like, Ja, why the hell are you even ever thinking about taking the ball out in the fourth quarter? We down by 9 points. Nah, dog, you need to have the ball in your hand.
Yeah, and I mean, it's silly mistakes like that. So once again, a young team still learning how to win. Me trying to put on the rosy glasses to brighten this up a little bit. One good thing in the fourth quarter, Taylor Jenkins challenged a call and won. Yeah. And that was on the charge. Dylan Brooks took a charge. I think it was Siakam driving to the rim. I'm not exactly sure because so many Raptors drove to the rim all night long. It could have been any of them. But then the next play, Ja and Valanciunas, Ja tries to hit him right in the middle of the lane, and I don't know if it was miscommunication or what, bounces off his hands, leads to another bucket. I thought JV did everything he could to win this game, man. He tapped one and kind of saved it going out of bounds right to Desmond Bane. Bane makes the layup and brought it within 7. It was 108-115 then. And then the next 3 possessions were a missed Kyle 3 and 2 missed Bane 3s. Not mad at the looks from Bane. He was open, good looks. And, you know, hopefully those start to fall in the fourth quarter sooner rather than later.
I'm looking at this shot chart, and I understand why. Flow of the game and all that stuff. Dylan Brooks don't need to be taking 20 shots. Yeah. He don't need to be taking 20 shots. Like 10-3, he don't need to be taking 10 threes. Like, unbelievable to me. I get it. He was kind of feeling it. At one point, he feels the pressure too, where he needs to start trying to take over and do what he has to do. But no, he don't need 20 shots.
He doesn't, but do you remember like when he shot any of those? Like, can you specifically remember like being that's a bad shot? Because I only really watched the second half, but I didn't notice just any times when I was like, don't shoot that.
You know what? That's a great point. I usually Dylan gives you 2 or 3 of those a game, but like there's a bad shot a game, but I don't think either one was a shot bad enough to make me say that's a bad shot.
Yeah, but I agree with your point though, and maybe that was a product of them taking the ball out of Ja's hands and just ended up with Dylan. But I mean, Ja Morant should lead this team. JV should probably be second in shots. I mean, even Kyle had 14. So
right, and 7 threes. Like Kyle, I know you just set your record last game. You made 23 threes. Get it, and maybe like I said, we were taking the shots that Toronto wanted us to take. Toronto could live with Kyle taking threes and Dylan taking threes. They didn't want Ja to get in that lane. Once again, they putting bigger guys on Ja, more physical guys on him. It's been tough going for him. And like my key of the game was that he has to get 20. He finished with 18. 6-17, didn't miss a free throw. But he needs 20 points. Like these are the games. Obviously, you can't sniff at the 9 assists, but these are the games where we need superstar Ja Morant to come win the game for us. Especially when you get a 20-20 game from Jonas. And like we said, like Dylan took 20 shots, but a lot of those shots were shots that he had to take, and not no bad shots, and he played well enough defense. Like you don't want to ruin good Dylan Brooks games because you don't know when you're gonna get another good Dylan Brooks game
and a great Valanciunas game,
right?
But I mean, so they closed the game on a 43-18 run. That includes all the points that the Grizzlies scored in the fourth quarter because we only had 16. So basically, the last 3 minutes of that third quarter and the entire fourth quarter, we were dominated. So I think in order to get this fixed. One, maybe it's not an easy fix, that's for sure. Sure, we're waiting on Jaren and Winslow to come back, but we can't count on that. Defensively, we've got to be better. We've got to get back to how we were playing defense during that 7-game win streak. We got to stop the point of attack, and then we got to figure out some offense. Figure out these lineups. We got nothing from the bench tonight, and this is the best bench unit in the NBA, and they scored 18 points. Right. We're usually talking about them scoring 50 points, and I was just looking at the box score, and our starters all played more minutes than I ever remember them playing. They're all in the 30s plus, and usually, Ja can't even get 30 minutes.
Right.
So Jenkins obviously felt some type of way about the bench performance too, but I would argue that he didn't give them much of a chance. We saw the first quarter and the third quarter, and if they're not able to get in their flow, it's going to be tough for them. Maybe they miss Melton. Maybe that was it. Maybe he just had seen enough and said, without DeAnthony, I need to ride the starters. But even if you break these rosters down, I think in the grand scheme of things, you take away the 7-game win streak, even with the injury to Kyle Lowry, you're probably taking this Raptors team over the current iteration of the Grizzlies team, talent-wise. I mean, Siakam, Freddie, Norman Powell, Boucher. They all had about 30 points except for Boucher. He had 12 and 10. Norman Powell had 29. Siakam 32, 5 and 6. So another tough loss. But I think I would have expected us to lose this game.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, like when the schedule came out and you saw you're playing the Raptors on this Monday night, you're like, it's probably a loss. But you watch the game and you see how close we were to winning the game, and how we basically just shot ourselves in the foot to prevent us from winning the game. That's where it gets iffy. You know what I'm saying? That's where you start feeling bad about it. And it doesn't get any easier. You got Charlotte coming in on Wednesday and LaMelo Ball. So it's like, hey, like we said, the schedule is a schedule. They playing every other day. They got to figure something out with these lineups. Like you said, maybe next game we see a little bit more of the bench. Tyus only played 14 minutes, I think it said, or 17 minutes. Georgie had 10. Xavier Tillman only had 14. It was he, like you said, Grayson had 21, but he saw something on that bench unit that he didn't like, and he didn't play him. And whether that was the bench unit collectively or the bench unit individually being interspersed with some of the starters, there was something there that he didn't like. And hopefully they got to get that fixed.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna win games when we're giving up 55% shooting to the other team, 54% from deep. You're giving up 26 free throws, and they're scoring 26 points off of turnovers.
Right.
So it's not just defense and it's not just offense. We got a long way to go in order to get back to where we were. And I mean, we talked about it as it was happening. The win streak was probably a product of the schedule, not getting everyone's top tier talent. Just to be honest, catching teams at good times, and we capitalize. And that's what you got to do in this league. And hopefully the next 3 games we're on a 3-game win streak.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, Charlotte's not easy. Did they win tonight? I know LaMelo went off. LaMelo had like 30-some points.
And then that'll be a big-time matchup. Ja's going to be up for it. And so is LaMelo. So another guy with length. But, I mean, I don't think LaMelo Ball has any business guarding John Morant. But we'll see.
Right. The Hornets beat the Rockets tonight by 25. Beat them by 25. Somebody didn't play. John Wall and Eric Gordon didn't play. Okay. All right. And you know what? This one I was thinking of a rant to go on, but now I remember what it was. Norman Powell. I wanted, like, this dude, he just shows up like at the most, I don't want to say inopportune times, but the times when you don't, like, he's averaging over like 15, 16 points. But to go for 29 tonight, and then you always think about Norman Powell and like those series against the Raptors versus the Cavs when LeBron was there. Like, he just come off the bench just shooting that thing, right? And when I believe he was on the UCLA teams when I was working at USC with Kyle. He was on the UCLA teams with Kyle while I was working at USC. And we're in the Pac-12. And so, like, this dude has been tormenting me and teams that I've coached and around for years. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Don't like it at all.
I'd take him on the Grizzlies, man. We could use a wing with some size.
If Desmond Bane becomes Norman Powell, are you happy?
I'd be thrilled. Yeah, I mean that's a long way to go. That's asking for a lot of ball handling improvement and defensive improvement. I thought late in the game he put Jonas in a bad spot in the corner that one time when Jonas turned it over late in the game, and I just think Bane is, yes, his 3-point shooting is great, but he plays like a rookie to me. Just a lot of small things here and there, spacing issues, just being in the right place. And as Jenkins mentioned, the defense tonight. So he's got a long way to go. But I mean, I think what you've seen so far from a rookie is extremely promising, especially the 30th pick. Man, I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we getting from him.
Who you got for your player of the game?
In these superlatives, I'm gonna go with Jonas. Got to go with Jonas. Even in the loss, 20-20. You know what I'm saying? It's second game back, 20-20. Was the person that kind of kept us in the game. Like I said, the chemistry between him and Ja is there when they get. I don't even say when they get back on the same page, because they seem to be back. Seem to be back at it. Team just runs differently when he's on the court. So I'm going with Jonas.
Yeah, me too. And I'd like to once again apologize to Mr. Valanciunas for trying to boot him out of the starting lineup for a rookie who, it's just his impact, his rebounding. If we had different players on this team that could rebound, we wouldn't need JV as much. But just when he's not there, we can't rebound. And I mean, it's evident when you get 20 rebounds, your team probably can't rebound that great.
Yep. Your bum of the game.
Oh, my bum of the game. Who do I want to go with? Who you got for bum of the game?
My bum of the game, I'm glad my boy Campbell put it up there. He didn't even play. My bum of the game was Justice Winslow's that shitty outfit that he wore. It was terrible.
What do you have on?
Like different greens that didn't match. Had some green pants that didn't match with the little jacket that he had on. it just looked bad, and that's probably why we lost because you out there representing us wrong on the bench, not being fresh, brother. So Justice Winslow's outfit is my bum of the game.
I'll go Tyus Jones. 4 points, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 1 assist from the field. Not what we need from Tyus, who has been awesome, for most of the year. So let's go, Tyus. Turn that around.
Yeah, man. No, I'll give him grace for one bad game. Just don't make it too often.
I mean, I already gave the excuses earlier in the show. I think Coach played him, so I ain't trying to harp on that.
Play of the game, I will go with the 3, like the falling 3. I'm gonna go with that because you don't see that often. Trying to draw a foul or whatever he's doing. Did it bank in?
No, it switched. I think. Yeah, it switched. Yeah.
So it was. I mean, it's between that and the two hand lob for that. So that'll be my play of the game.
I'm gonna give it to Coach Jenkins since I've been bagging on him all game for winning a challenge. We didn't do anything with it, but you challenged and we won. I thought you should have challenged the call earlier, and I'm glad you didn't because this one happened in a more crucial spot. So I thought it was a great timing, and it was risky because if we would have lost, we would have only had 1 timeout left, which we ended up taking home with us anyway because we got blown out the rest of the way. But good, nice challenge.
That's good. And I think the next play after that challenge we did was a turnover from us. That was the Jada Jonas turnover right there, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Jonas was wide open in the middle of the court, so it looked like 2 points.
Yeah. And did I win some money tonight? Yes, I did. Won a little bit of cash. I bet the over. And I think it was like 220 something, 220 or 222, and they smashed that. What was the total? It was 241 was the total. So won me some money on that. I sprinkled a little bit on my little stats bets, and let's just go through the stats bets. Let's go through it. Let's just see who fucked Jamal over this time. And I'll go ahead and tell you who it is.
It's Kyle Lowry.
2 Raptors is Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam.
What's Siakam do to you? You must have bet under. Oh, he didn't get the rebounds, huh?
He needed 6 or more rebounds.
He 5-piece.
My boy got 5. And yep, my boy got 5, and he averages 8. I say he'll get 6. This ain't average 8. He'll get 6. Didn't get 6. But and I had Kyle Lowry to score more than 10 points. He goes out after 4, scores 4 points. Everything else hit. Fred VanVleet had over 15. Siakam had over 15. Ja had over 15. Jonas had over 15. Ja had over 6 assists. Jonas had over 8 rebounds. Dylan had over 10. Kyle had over 8. VanVleet had over 4 assists. Norman Powell had over 13 points. But the 2 that didn't hit, Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam. So that's $2 down the drain, man.
Well, I mean, at least you benefited from the porous Grizzlies defense. So.
Right. So the over is I would bet that they've hit the over in every game they played, especially in his losing streak. Maybe not the Indiana game, because I don't think they scored enough in the Indiana game.
The blowout happened too quick.
Yeah, the blowout happened too quick. But yeah, so this is not a betting show. This is not betting advice. We are not experts, but I was just on Wednesday, just look at the over. Well, they played Charlotte before. So go see what happened there and go from there. Damn. They just told me I lost another one. Anyway.
Hey, I'm calling in now, Jay. The losing streak ends Wednesday.
Oh, we got a call from Mace. Mace says the losing streak is over on Wednesday. I'm with you on that, man. I think we can beat this Charlotte team. I think we can beat them. We beat them before. We can beat them again. It's a good matchup. I mean, Charlotte looks different now because I think LaMelo's in the starting lineup. They're playing a little bit faster. They actually started letting Malik Monk play more. Mm-hmm. So you got to watch out for him because he is a bucket.
was hoping we could get him for the cheap when they weren't playing him.
Right.
And then he had a little off-season problems, like, oh, come on, Malik.
It's a couple guys that Grizzlies fans always want, like Rodney Hood, Malik Monk.
Well, Malik's where's he from? Arkansas, I think, so not too far away.
He's from Arkansas. And everybody thought he was going to Arkansas, but he went to Kentucky. And they didn't turn out too bad for him. All righty, Mace, let the people know where they can find you.
At Barnburner Slim on the Twitter. Holla at me, man. Where can they find you?
I am at Nerdy McFly on the Twitter. At the _Kickback _podcast on the IG. At the Kickback Pod on Facebook, which most of you are watching or listening to right now. And on YouTube, you can catch us on the Diamond in the Bluff YouTube page. That's where all these are living. And yeah, man, we are here every night. Not every night, every game night. Feels like every night.
Seems like it.
We did 4 last week. After every Memphis basketball game, Memphis Tigers, Memphis Grizzlies, we are here recapping, giving our thoughts, and entertaining the masses. Want to give a special shout out to the homie Campbell. Today's his birthday. Was out there doing it big on his birthday dinner. I forgot the restaurant, but I hope you're wearing a mask, my brother. Be out there. Be safe.
Happy birthday, Campbell, man. Hope you carved up a steak like the Raptors carved up Jonas Valanciunas late in the 4th and then pick and rolls.
Yeah, man. So we appreciate all y'all. If you haven't hit the subscribe button or the follow button on whatever device you're listening to, go ahead and do that. And we will catch y'all on Wednesday after the Grizzlies beat the Hornets. We'll be drinking the beer in celebration. For Mace, I'm Slim, and we are out.
Peace.